All right, y'all. This is Rational Gig Driver, otherwise known as DOORDASH, coming to you today with a special video from the road again. So, anyways, wanted to talk to you today. Again, one of my struggles that I've had recently is getting on the schedule with DOORDASH, and that's because, as I talked about in my last video, I am no longer a top dasher, and I'm not unhappy about that. I'm glad to be able to be out here experiencing it and experiencing gig work in my market as it's being experienced by a majority of drivers. So, and like I said, I don't know that I'll be able to get back. I don't even know that I'm going to worry about getting back in that program. I did it for a very long time, and I had to do it for different reasons. One of them being my dad, who's passed, and I needed to be available to be there for doctor's appointments and things with him to help him out. But now that situation has, I guess, resolved itself in a way, not in the way I wanted it to, but it's resolved itself. So I don't feel so inclined now to say, let's go back to that. Now, it's nice to get on the platform, but, and have access to the platform anytime I want. But as I mentioned in my last video, I feel like I was limiting my options, right? But I've been thinking about it. I'm like, the only platform right now out there that requires you to schedule to get on the platform is DOORDASH, that I know of. Spark, I can come on anytime I want. Uber, I can come on anytime I want. Grubhub, I can come on anytime I want. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to get orders. Doesn't mean I'm going to get the opportunity. But I have the opportunity to be out here, and they have the opportunity, if I'm in the right position near a restaurant and an order comes available, they could send it to me. And I have that opportunity to work, which should be my right as an independent contractor. Yet DOORDASH plays with the idea of system access. Now, they would say they do that because they want to ensure that there isn't oversaturation. Well, there's one way to do that. Do like Spark does. Do like Grubhub does. It's hard to get on in my area. If you tried to sign up right now, you wouldn't be able to sign up for either, although you wouldn't probably be able to sign up for DOORDASH either. But what it really is it's manipulation of the driver. That's what it's really about. That's what it really comes down to. It's a game. It's a game that DOORDASH is playing to try to get you to feel like, hey, you're on the platform for a period of time. If you want unfettered access to our platform, you've got to accept so many offers. You've got to have an acceptance rate of such and such. And it's really an unfair game that they play. But it's manipulation. And that's what it comes down to. Now, I don't know that you really make more money doing that. See, DOORDASH has closed the doors around its platform, allowing for drivers to have only one option. That is, accept the offers as they want you to do them. They're going to have an average miles to money. It doesn't matter whether you're Pedro, DOORDASH, Santiago showing it off, or someone else. Eventually, the average is going to hit. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter whether you're a YouTube creator or not. You're going to eventually fall in line with DOORDASH's averages if all you're doing is DOORDASH. Now, if you're doing multiple apps like Instacart, DOORDASH, Grubhub, Uber Eats, Ship, you have a shot, but because you have the ability to sit there and just turn down orders until an order comes that makes sense for you. Then you can hit accept. And that makes sense. That makes sense to a degree. But on the other hand, if you're out here not making money at all, waiting for those perfect orders that you don't know if it will come or not, is that really a viable way to do business forever? And the answer is probably not. And also, the question is, what is a good offer? What is the offer that a driver out here should be taking? Many would focus on and say, well, I want to make X amount an hour. I still see it. I still see it in my comment sections. If you're talking hourly, you are fundamentally misunderstanding what you are. You are not an hourly worker. You are not working by the hour. You're not working by the week. You're working by the mile. And I want you to understand that. It is vitally important that we as a community help other drivers see that and remind them you are a driver first. You are a driver first, everything else second. And understand what that means. The main issue why we have the problems we have and DoorDash gets away with what it does, is because we have things like earn by time. It shouldn't be earned by time. It should be earned by mile. We are guaranteeing you X amount per mile that you're going to drive. If we see a program like that come out, we know we've evolved. We know we're being treated like drivers, not like employees. Because if you are being paid by the hour, you will never be able to know that you're going to be able to make enough money to be profitable. Because we don't work by the hour. We work by the mile. It took me a very long time to understand that. Because I was used to working by the hour. Well, I was working on a salaried basis, but it still was hours given. For me, it's miles driven now. Because that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, it comes down to miles driven. And how much time did you spend driving those miles? Of course, it's a factor you want to take into account. But it's miles driven. Because you could be available to work. But if your car doesn't work anymore, and you haven't set aside enough money, and you don't have the money set aside because you haven't made enough per mile that you drove to make sure that you had money at the end of that time, you're not working today. So I want you to remember, guys, it's miles driven. Please. That is the main thing that we have to drive home to every driver out there, every creator out here that makes a video, every hustler out here that wants to hustle. You need to make sure and pay attention to what you are accepting on a per mile basis and what you actually end up driving on a per mile basis. What are you earning per mile in both of those instances? Everything else is a nice thing. Everything else is hey, your wife or your husband wants to know, how long are you going to be out today? Well, my goal is to make $200, and I'm earning about $22 an hour that I'm out here driving at $3 a mile, because that's what I need to drive at. So probably be out another 3 hours to get to my goal. That's it. That's just a time thing. That's just a way for you to measure the time you're going to have to spend out here doing it. And is it worth it for you? Is this the best use of your time? Is this the best way for you to use your resources and your assets? Because your main asset is your car in this. And if you run your car to the ground, if you don't have that vehicle anymore, you will no longer be delivering, unless, of course, you're in the city and you can ride around on a motorbike or pedal on a bicycle. Or maybe, again, be on a city block that you could deliver by foot. But the general everyday driver, the rural driver, the driver in most communities around the United States is going to need a vehicle to get this done. That is your biggest asset. And DoorDash and all of these, and DoorDash does it the best, but all of these apps have worked very hard to separate you from that realization that it is the miles to money that is the absolute most important thing and the most important metric that you should be working towards every day. Anyways, guys, I'll leave you at that. I just thought about that. How DoorDash is uses the access to their platform to try to keep drivers distracted from the real things that they need to focus on. Anyways, guys, I'll talk to you soon. It's Rational Gig Driver coming to you. I'm going to keep posting. I'm going to start posting more regularly here, talking about the gig world, talking about gig stuff, talking about all things related to what we do on a daily basis as we're earning money out here, trying to survive and make money as fast and as efficiently as we can. Anyways, until then, guys, stay rational, and I'll talk to you soon.